Greetings and welcome. Tonight's broadcast is entitled Little White Lie, and it's the story of Lacey Schwartz. And let me get these comments up really quickly before I get into this. Hi there, Melly. Hi there, Riska. How are you? And again, this is on a documentary entitled Little White Lie by Lacey Schwartz. And it premiered on PBS's Independent Lens in 2015, which scored the highest rating of the season. And the story is about uncovering secrets and coming to terms with identity, which has been distributed worldwide and can be found on iTunes and Amazon. Hey there, Big Pontiac, how are you? So I'm going to be showing bits and pieces of this and giving commentary. And at the same time, for those of you who would like to put in your thoughts or comments, you are most certainly welcome, because we do know that race is spoken about a lot. And I know the time that I grew up, there had been questions on identity and ethnicity. Hey there, Nath, and self-care, health and awareness, Big Pontiac. Thank you all for coming. So this is going to be a small twist, but not much. Again, this is going to be fair use. So let me put that up there before we begin. And this is under Section 107 Copyright Act, which states allowance is made for fair use of copyrighted material for purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, education, teaching, and or scholarship. It provides for the legal, non-licensed citation and or incorporation of copyrighted material by others which might be infringing under other circumstances. So, without further delay, and I'll be checking messages. This is Little White Lie.
I was programmed to marry him.
What do you mean you're programmed?
He was the path. I went to a city school. I became a teacher. I got married to a nice Jewish guy. That's the way it was. I didn't think that's what I'm doing. I'm getting married, and I'm getting married to this guy. He just didn't think outside the box. We didn't. And sometimes it was easier that way.
All right, give me one moment. And I'm hoping that this will be able to come up. And it may not. I'll have to see. Hopefully it will. If not, I'm going to have to come back in and bring it all the way up. Give me one moment. I'm actually looking at it myself. Okay, hold on. Hey there, self-care, health, and wellness. Hey there, Trending Jade. I'm trying to pull this up. All right, hold on for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I think I'm able to pull it up now again. It's fair use. And it is a snippet of the Lacey Schwartz story.
I grew up in a world with synagogue, Hebrew school, bar mitzvahs. My family knew who they were, and they defined who I was. So it never occurred to me that I was passing.
Okay, now that's Lacey who's actually narrating this documentary. And for those of you that are in here, the last statement that was made was she wasn't known or wasn't aware of passing. Now, is anybody familiar with what passing means as it relates to race? And again, this is not, even though it says little white lie, there's a little twist to it. So, passing. Hello there, Charles. How are you? See if there are any comments there before I continue with the video. But again, the question was, are you familiar with what it is when you hear someone that says passing? And everyone is speaking to one another, which is good. Hey there, Sabina. And I'll make sure I have everyone before I continue on. Yes, Nomads here. Thank you all. And good morning, yes, Nomads. Let's see who else popped in really quickly that I missed. Passing is, hey there, Uncle L, how are you? Passing is normally when you are known as one race, but because of features, physical features, you may be looked upon as another. And this is what has happened in the Lacey Schwartz story. So I'll continue with the documentary.
I wasn't pretending to be something I wasn't. I actually grew up believing I was white.
And as you could hear, hey there, the realist McCoy, how are you? Welcome. This is a documentary watch and commentary entitled Little White Lie, the story of Lacey Schwartz, which is very interesting. So, welcome. And let me make sure you have your tool. Everyone, please make sure if you have not, please subscribe, like, and most importantly, share, because I'd like to have a discussion after this. Again, this is called Little White Lie, and you just heard she has always believed she was white. And for all intents and purposes, until we go further on in this documentary, there would be no other reason for her to believe anything different. These types of stories we've heard, at least in my generation, many, many times. But again, it's not always one particular race, which we'll see as we continue with this documentary. Again, fair use.
All right, so now let's get back to your story. So
Really that denial being learned behavior from my parents, but very much from a young age learning that denial and realizing that even though I was getting questioned in some spaces and I was very much internalizing the insecurities about looking different, at the same time I was also rationalizing in a way and getting rationalizations from my family about why I did look the way I did.
that's so well articulated, because again, it's not about people being malicious, but I think, and sometimes you could watch something like this, and I remember thinking about your mother, like she even, I think, for periods of time convinced herself that you were not Rodney's child. But I think the denial is often just a question of hope. Like it's not like some people don't tell their children that they've been adopted.
So, your thoughts on that? And how do you feel, or how would you feel, or would you be willing to tell your children that one parent may have had an affair, or perhaps the child is actually adopted? And if you do not disclose that information, how that may affect the child when they get older? Robert was Lacey's daddy. Keep that in mind. So I see all heart, grit, and grind here. And I'll wait to see if there are any comments that come up as far as how would you or would you disclose to your child that may have questions due to other children's questions or other people's questions that their appearance, meaning features, don't quite fit the quote unquote norm. I'll wait for a few and then I'll continue on with the video. And welcome to you. Let me get your tool. Okay, it is raining here now, as you might be able to hear in the background. So I will continue. Again, fair use.
And to me, it's not just about information, it's about process. It's about coming to terms with information. It's about understanding that information the best you can. And then it's about moving forward and acceptance. And so I think that when you're asking yourself about like why you share information and how you share information, you really have to look at the process of how you're sharing it and for what reason you're sharing it and where you're trying to get with it.
I think that's great. And it's true when I
Okay, she's continuing to speak on her truth and the process. Again, your thoughts. Now, this is the part where she goes in to speak about her biological father, which was not known at first. Again, fair use.
The film obviously gets into some of the nuances of our relationship, but we have a very positive relationship. I'm very thankful to everyone in my family who really went on this journey with me to talk about things openly and honestly for the first time, to make a film, and they've been incredibly supportive. I mean, as I said before, I think that you know, everybody can be at different places. There's different reasons why you do things, and I don't think was you, as I say in the film, I mean, the lesson that I learned in making it is that in the same way I wanted my parents to accept me for who I was, I needed to accept them for who they were. And that doesn't mean that, you know, they were going to do everything the way I'm going to do it. And so I think that there is definitely that lesson in it.
So she speaks further on the relationship and stated that there are things that she had to accept, but they had to accept as well. And coming to a place of peace with the realization that there were things that were unbeknownst to her until she grew older. There were people in her family that knew the truth, but it was not discussed. And I'm sure that this is due to culture and not wanting to stir the pot. So let us continue.
To move forward with my life. And it doesn't mean that you work it all out perfectly, but really for it not to be a source of anxiety for me going forward. And so I really, coming out of this, feel honestly very good.
And
now
I suspect it has altered the lives of your parents.
It's interesting. In certain ways it has, and in certain ways it hasn't. Like my father, who I think if you watch the film is kind of the most reluctant participant. Although, again, as I said, I appreciate the fact that he has participated in with me. It hasn't. I mean, I know you'd have to ask him. And the honest truth is, I respect the fact that he did this with me, and I don't really bother him with it so much. But it doesn't seem to me that his life has actually changed that much because.
So she's speaking on the relationship after everything came out with her father. And she mentioned that, in her opinion, that it hasn't really had much of an effect on him. So we will go to another. Hey there. And All Heart Grit and Grind says, stirring the pot is necessary, otherwise the contents get stuck. You all will have to go and watch the entire documentary. It, to me, is very good. And that's a poignant point that you made, All Heart Grit and Grind, which you will see momentarily. And it wasn't until she was accepted into Georgetown University that things started to change. So with that, give me one moment. And thank you for that, All Heart Grit and Grind. I'll share another screen.
Hear the call of the wild and enjoy the best of nature anytime, anywhere.
I witnessed something I've never seen recorded before.
Stream the latest cutting-edge films and classic episodes with PBS Passport.
This is quite incredible here.
From the stunning peaks of the Rocky Mountains to the heart of the Okavango, there's so much to explore. Support your PBS station and stream the best of nature with Passport on the PBS app today.
We did it.
Nine years ago, I started working on a personal documentary called Little White Lie. The film follows my experience growing up in a white Jewish family, only to learn at the age of 18 that my biological father was Black. It was a secret my mother had kept from me and everyone else. While making that film, two of my closest friends, Marette and Zahara, were crucial in helping me understand my new identity.
Is being biracial, half Black, half white, a category of being Black? Like, I think of it.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think of it that way. Being Black feels good for me.
Because it's being true to yourself. I mean, it's being true to who you are.
Almost a decade later, I am married and have twin boys that just turned 2.
Now, your thoughts on that? Wait to see if any comments come up. And this will be the last screen share, which really gets into the ebb and flow of Lacey Schwartz's story and the stories of many.
I grew up in a world with synagogue, Hebrew school, bar mitzvahs. So it never occurred to me that I was passing. I wasn't pretending to be something I wasn't. I actually grew up believing I was white.
Show us how you can stand on your side. Oh, that's terrific. How do you do that?
We lived almost picture perfect kind of life for a while. So when Lacey decided she was going to tell the story, I was a little nervous about it.
If you look too closely at it, it didn't make any sense. So we found ways to see what we wanted to believe.
I always looked at you like you looked black. To me, you're just like a Jewish kid who, I don't know.
White people will think anything. Crazy things. I'll know white people for a long time.
Today's the day. We did it.
It really is the power of denial. How the hell did anybody sort of not acknowledge this?
It just seems like the 600-pound gorilla in the room to kind of just refuse to see it.
When it came time to apply to college, I had to check a box. The only box I had ever known was white, so I just didn't check anything. And based off a photograph, I was admitted to college as a Black student. And I was afraid of not being a part of the world that I had grown up in anymore.
If I could have done my life differently, there are a lot of things I would have done differently, but in the end, not really.
You know, the fact is, like, whatever happened with you and Daddy and that inability to talk about things, that is what I carry on. Nobody talked about everything because it was all secrets.
So again, the Lacey Schwartz story, Little White Lies, can be found on Amazon or iTunes. And it gets again into race, identity, and hiding or shielding one's identity. Now, when you view, or if those who would like to take the opportunity to view, and if you have Amazon and you're a member, you can pull it right up and it comes with your membership. It's entitled Little White Lie, but her mother apparently had an affair with Rodney, who was very popular in the New York neighborhood in which he resided and helped a lot with basketball and interaction with children. And the mother admitted later that she, in fact, did have an affair with Rodney. However, Robert was the only father at that time that Lacey knew. And when she was a small child, one of her student or fellow student, if you will, asked her to show her gums because he was blonde hair sitting beside her, and with her skin color and her other features, it just made him curious. And as we know, children are extremely curious at that age, and she did look different to the little boy. And as the documentary went on, and with the last clip, she did not feel accepted or totally identify with being Black, or her Black side, if you will, until she was accepted at Georgetown University, which is predominantly Black. However, there are many races that attend there. There's adjunct professors of other races there now, but at one time it was predominantly Black. So I am going to drop the link really quickly to see if there's anyone that has any comments or thoughts about what they think about this documentary and Lacey Schwartz story, because there are many, in my opinion, Lacey Schwartz out there that has gone through secrets as far as identity, outside relationships, perhaps adoptions that were not disclosed to them until they were older, or felt compelled to go deep and ask the questions, uncomfortable questions that some do not like to speak about. So I will leave the link up for a few to see if there's any input you all may have. If not, you're welcome to leave them in the comments, and I will respond to those at my earliest. Again, the title of this documentary is Little White Lie, and it's about Lacey Schwartz. And thank you again for everyone that came in. I see you, Sabina, waving. Hopefully all is well with you and everyone on this rainy Sunday. Okay, I believe I've recognized everyone that's come in here with your comments. And again, the link is there for a couple more moments. And if no one has anything they would like to add, I will close this out and feel free to comment later. Again, the title of this documentary is Little White Lie by Lacey Schwartz. Very, very interesting and good documentary, in my opinion. Okay, I see. Yes, Nomads and Sabina again waving. And it is now 6:46 Standard Time. So I will thank everyone who came by. And again, I'll make sure that all of the links for those who are interested in seeing the documentary Little White Lie by Lacey Schwartz is in the description. And for those that may catch the replay, good night to you. Oh my goodness, almost midnight. Okay, well, it's almost 7:00 p.m. here in the East Coast and the United States. But I thank you so much for your support. And for those, again, who would like to view the documentary, I'll make sure that the information is there. And those who catch the replay, if they would like to leave a comment, please be sure to do so. And with that, I thank you all. Be safe, be well, and as always, be healthier. Until next time, bye-bye for now.